Takes no notice, big old lumpy as and all. He's a naughty-looking geezer. Starts to chant, I don't know what it is, it's power though, it's passion. And then he puts it down, pipes at everyone. Make sure everyone's singing. Right, takes everyone in. And if there ain't no one singing, he digs them out, he'll find them. Right mad mince pies, do you know what I mean? Like that, bosh. And the singing paid off, as Dinamo ended up 4-1 winners. The following morning I met up with Bogdan and we went back to the Maximir Stadium. For him, this place is much more than just a football ground.
It's our second home, you know? Really, when I come to this stand, I forgot on everything which is happening in my life.
So how often would you say, Bogdan, that there's trouble in Croatia, trouble with the Bad Blue Boys? Is it...
In the 90s it was, it was normal thing. Like you eat every day something. Every weekend we had problems. Every away match we had a fight with the police, with the other supporters.
Mostly police though, yeah?
Yes, mostly police, because we had a war with the president of the Croatia and the whole government. We were enemy number one and the whole police were chasing us.
So this was Croatia today. The Bad Blue Boys and the Torcida. Football firms fighting each other and the police, vying to be the #1 firm in the country. But the animosity here is nothing compared with the hatred that is felt for their neighbours in Serbia, because that is about more than just football. They used to share a country and then they went to war. And it was the firms who went to the front line.
I cannot tell you with the words what do I feel against them. They are our biggest enemies.
So stay with us, because later I'm going to find out about the football riot that was the start of a war.
Both sides had stockpiled rocks in the stadium beforehand so they could use them as weapons.
And I'll be travelling to Serbia and get to see the dark side of Belgrade. I was in Zagreb, Croatia, in a football ground which, although it may not look like much, witnessed an event in the history of football as significant as anything Wembley, the Nou Camp or the Maracanã has ever seen. In May 1990, the former Yugoslavia was on the brink of civil war. Nationalism within the two largest republics, Croatia and Serbia, was at an all-time high. As this political powder keg was about to explode, one of the biggest club matches of the Yugoslav football season took place between Dinamo Zagreb and Red Star Belgrade.
Hooliganism generally had been rising through the late 70s and 80s, as it had across Europe. But in Yugoslavia it had a nationalist element. Red Star were very much Serb nationalists. Dinamo Zagreb were the hardcore of the Croatian nationalists. The Red Star fans went up there with acid to burn down security fences. Both sides had stockpiled rocks in the stadium beforehand so they could use them as weapons. It was pre-arranged. Everybody knew it was going to go off.
And go off it did, as the Croats and the Serbs fought out a ferocious battle in an explosion of pent-up nationalism and hatred. This was not just Dinamo v Red Star, the Bad Blue Boys v Delia. This was Croatia v Serbia. Football photographer Toma Mihailovic has covered the game for over 50 years, and he was there that day.
The atmosphere was like we know that something is not good, but nobody was surprised because we were expecting sometimes to blow up.
During the game, the Red Star fans started tearing up the seats in this end. The Bad Blue Boys of Zagreb, who were in this end here, tried to break down the fences to get to the Red Star.
They beat back the police, who, being mostly Serbs, came in for special attention from the Bad Blue Boys.
it wasn't only fans who got involved. When a policeman attacked a Dynamo fan lying on the ground, Dynamo's Croatian captain, Boban, decided to exact revenge.
Boban's kick was a symbolic moment. It was the beginning of the end for Yugoslavia.
For me, it was a sad day. It was a terrible day, and I was feeling that I'm losing something. I have to forget all friends, all the clubs and everybody, you know. And I'm feeling that is something we came to the end. And I was sorry about that.
And Tomo was right, as a year later it wasn't punches and kicks that were being exchanged. It was gunfire and grenades, as Croatia and Serbia went to war, and the hooligans swapped their firms for their armies and signed up. The civil war raged for 4 years, with more than 15,000 people killed. And by the end, Croatia and Serbia were two separate countries. It was one of the most incredible stories I'd ever heard. Football hooliganism as a political event, one of the biggest moments in the history of two nations, the start of a war which is still fresh in the mind.
We hate them. I cannot tell you with the words what do I feel against them. You have in England firms and clubs who hate each other, but I really don't think so that you have such example.
And there's certainly nothing in England like the memorial for the members of the firm that died fighting for Croatia. A memorial that shows the riot, which they believe was the real start of the war.
This is a statue for our brave lads who have been killed in the war for our freedom, for freedom of our country. This is everything for us. This is like a church, you know. Every time we pass here, we make a little pray for our guys. It's a very, very, very emotional part of the stadium for us.
It's very powerful.
Yes.
The Bad Blue Boys weren't the only ones to die for their country. This is a memorial in Split, dedicated to the members of the Torcida, who made the ultimate sacrifice for Croatia. There were two sides to every story, and it was time to hear the other one. I was off to Serbia.
So I've been to Celtic Rangers. I've heard about Liverpool, Man United. You know, I know about the West Ham Millwall rivalries, you know, but that's nothing compared to this. You know, we're talking about, you know, these guys went to war with each other. You know, we're not talking about a tear up in the street for 2 minutes. You know, we're not talking about ambushing a pub. We're not talking about having it off with the old Bill. You know, we're talking about these guys signed up, got given guns, went to the front line. You know? It's like England going to war with Scotland, like proper war. You know, it's really, really hard to get your nut round it.
I was travelling on a road which in the days of Yugoslavia was called the Road of Brotherhood and Unity. But at the time of the Civil War,